Good afternoon, guys. Can you able to hear my voice?
Good afternoon, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Shall we start or we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes?
Sir, wait, sir.
Were you able to implement the concepts that we discussed in theory class in your lab?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start today's class. Uh, in the previous class, if you recollect, we discussed data structures of stacks and queues. We also try to understand what is stack, like last in first out or first in last out. We try to study the queues after that. It's a first in first out mechanism of the data storing and accessing, right? And we studied the various operations in stack like push and pop. In queues, insertion, deletion, we call that as the NQ and DQ. After that, some variations of queue we studied, deck and priority queue. And using deck, you can able to implement the stack as well. So we also try to understand the priority queue, and I gave the assignment to implement deck and the priority queue. Okay, so today we'll discuss about another data structure called a tree or trees. It's a non-linear data structure. So far, all the data structures what we studied, they are all linear data structures. arrays, linked list, stack, queues, everything is logically, if you see, they are organized in a sequential way, right? But now we will start studying the non-linear data structure. Trees, graphs, they are called non-linear data structure because they don't form a linear fashion of arranging the elements. And why that is, we will be able to understand once we study these concepts. Okay. So let us talk about tree data structure. So a tree data structure is similar to linked list, but instead of each node pointing simply to the next node in a linear fashion, each node in tree points to the number of nodes. Okay, so tree is an example of a non-linear data structure. A tree is a way of representing a hierarchical nature of a structure in a graphical form. The tree abstract data type, uh, the order of the element is not linear. Okay, so if we are really want the elements to be having an ordered formation, then you should consider the data structure. Linear data structure like linked list, stacks, queues can be used. But if your data is organized in a non-linear form, and you can think which data structure will be suitable, either trees or graphs, but we will try to see what is trees and what is graphs upon studying this data structures. Once we come to an application, we can determine which data structure is suitable to implement a particular algorithm or a particular implementation. When it comes which data structure is suitable, we will make a decision. Okay, so as you see here on the left side, a tree looks like this diagram. So any tree will have a root. So we consider a root node is A here, which is on the top. Okay. So this is the root node which we will consider the starting point. Root is the node with no parents. Okay. In terms of tree data structure, we call, if any node has no parents, that is the root of a tree. So in this case, A is the root because A don't have any parents. B has A as a parent, C has A as a parent, D also has A as a parent, right? So likewise, E's parent is B, F parent is also B, G parent is C, H parent is D, and so on and so forth. Okay, we can see here J parent is F and K parent is G. So every node in the tree will have parents except the root node. So there can be at most one root node in a tree, but you can have multiple roots also. That also we will study in the upcoming class when we are studying B plus trees. But for the time being, a simple tree, we will consider only one root. Okay, we'll have at most one root. In this example, A is the root. The edges refers to the link from a parent to the child. So all the links, so A to B or A to C, A to D link says that it's a parent and child link. Likewise, B to E, B to F, C to G, D to H, and D to I, they are all links from the parent to child. Okay, so a node with no links, no children, is called leaf node. For example, E has no children, J has no children, K has no children, H has no children, I has no children, right? F has children, J, G has children, K. The leaf nodes are E, J, K, H, I. Okay, E has no children, J has no children, K has no children, H has no children, I has no children. These nodes are called leaf nodes. This node is called root node. Does this make sense what I'm saying so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tree will have a root and leaf, right? The leaves will come at the end. They will not have any further branches. So that's how we will try to study an inverse tree of nature inverse of natural tree, right? So usually root will have at the bottom, but here we will see root as on the top, leaf nodes in the bottom place. But that's okay, as long as we understand the concept similar to what a tree looks like. It's an inward tree, upside down tree, but still it's a tree. Okay, So let us try to understand some more aspects of a tree. Now, if B, C, D has the same parent, what is the relationship between B, C, D? We call them as the siblings. Okay, like brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters are the siblings because they share the same parent. B also has the same parent, C also has the same parent, D also has the same parent. So B, C, D are siblings. Likewise, E and F are siblings because they both has the same parent. G has no siblings because it has only one child, one parent. H has sibling of I. Okay, sibling is like a brothers and sisters who share the same parent. Okay, now that's what I okay. Children of the same parent are called siblings. B C D of A, E F of B, and G to C, H I of D. Okay, I have I gave only two examples. Okay, likewise, there is one more parameter we need to understand. If a node P is an ancestor of a node Q, if there exists a path from root to Q and P appears on the path. Okay, so if I had to say this one, let it make this as a new point. This would be better. Okay, now see, if a node P is an ancestor of a node Q, if there is exist a path from root to Q and P appears on the path. What is mean by that? For example, if uh, for a node K, G is a parent, A, C are ancestors. Okay, A, C, G are ancestors means those who born before, right? So if here node is a Q, if uh, root from root to Q, all the nodes which appear P are the ancestors of the node. Okay, of the node P. So A, C, G are ancestors of K. Okay, likewise D, A are ancestors of H. D, A are ancestors of I. F, B, A are ancestors of J. Likewise, B, A are ancestors of E. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
G ancestor is CA. F ancestor is BA. Okay. So they are the ancestors. Likewise, we can say descendant. The node Q is called a descendant of P if it happens the other way. For example, A's descendants are C, G, K. Okay, K is descendant of G. Okay, uh, we can say that G and K are descendants of C. C, G, K are descendants of A. Is this clear? Likewise, D, I are descendants of A. I is descendant of D. D, I both are descendants of A. We can say that H and D also descendant of A. Likewise, descendants are like who is coming after our generation. Your grandfather descendants are your father and you, right? But our ancestors are our father and forefathers. It's the other way around. Okay, likewise, we can call them ancestors and descendants. Shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, any doubts? Okay. So likewise, you have different levels in a tree. Initially, the set of nodes we have to consider here what is depth, what is height, and what is level. These three concepts should be little bit. We will clarify that. Levels are all the root node. This is level 0. Root node will be always in level 0. Level 1, the descendants, the one, I mean, immediate descendants of A will be at level 1. So A's children B, C, D are at level 1. All these nodes B, C, D are at level 1. E, F, G, H, I are at level 2. J, K are at level 3. Okay, you can keep going like that as the tree expands. Now, the set of nodes at a depth is the depth of a node is the length of the path from the root node uh, to the particular node. For example, the depth of G is you have to A to C, C to G, that is 2. The links you have to count. The depth is it's 2. From A to C you have to come, C to G, so the depth is 2. Uh, so likewise, the set of all the nodes at a given depth is called the level of the tree. B, C, D are on the same level. The root node is at level 0. Is this clear? Now, the height of a node is the length of the path from that node to the deepest node. Means the height of the tree is the length of the path from the this is repeated. Let me observe this. Observe this statement. The height. Okay. Observe this statement. The height of a node is the length of the path from the node to the deepest node. For example, what is the height of B? From here, from this node to the deepest node, B's height is 2. Okay. But the height of a tree is from the root to the deepest node, that is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so deepest node if you go, that will be the height of the tree. Height of the node is the length of the path from that node to the deepest node. What is the length of D? D's length is 1. What is the length of this tree? Always again, whatever the deepest place from the root, 1, 2, 3. 3 is the height of this tree. Is this clear? More or less, depth of a node or a height of a node is similar. There is, if you are not confused, you can be clear about that. So, okay, the depth of a node is the length of the path from the root node to the root to the node. We are counting from the root how depth it is. Okay, how low, how depth we can go. So, the depth of A to B is just 1. The depth of A to F is 2. The depth of A to J is 3. So at each level, the depth is increasing, but the height of a node, we will count from that point to the bottom deepest node. So the height of E is 0 because there are no other nodes to go. The height of B is, we will count from this node to the deepest node. The height of tree, we will again start from the root. Is this clear? The difference between height of a node, height of a tree, and depth of a node?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, a rooted tree with only one node has the height of 0 because the height of B here is 2, right? That a tree with only one node has the height of 0 because if there is only one node, we will make it 2 points. Then this will be clear. If there is only one node, you say that you have only one node root. Okay. So what is the height of this tree?
Sir, 0.
0. This is the point it says. Okay, a rooted tree with only one node, the root has always a height of 0, but the height of B here is B to F, F to J, it's 2, right? The height of the tree is the maximum height among all the nodes in the tree, and depth of the node is the maximum depth among all the nodes in the tree. For a given tree, uh, for a given tree, the height and depth may return the same value, but for individual nodes, we may get different results. Okay, for the whole tree, if you count for the whole tree, the height and depth will be the same. The depth of this tree is 1, 2, 3, but the height of the tree is also 3. But for individual node, the height of B is only 2. Okay, is this correct?
Yes, sir.
But the depth of uh, depth from A to B is just 1. If you have to reach B, the depth will be just 1. Okay, depth you will
Yes,
calculate
sir.
always from root. What is the depth from A to B? This is just one depth. Okay, so likewise, what is this C depth is just 1. A to C you can reach how depth it is staying, from the root we will calculate, but the height of the tree, height of a node, we will calculate how deepest we can go. The height of C is 2 hops, right? So for a given tree, depth and height returns the same value, but individual nodes, this value may change. The size of a node is the number of descendant it has, including itself. So the size of the subtree C has 3. So 1, 2, 3 nodes, including C. So the size of the descendants, when we are calculating the size of a tree or a subtree, we have to calculate that node itself. What is the size of this whole tree? Tell me.
4.
Come on, guys. The size of this whole tree. The number of descendants it has, including A is one node. A has descendants B, C, D, total 4 nodes. B has descendants E and F, and F has descendant J. C has descendant G and K. D has descendant H and I. What is the total size of this tree?
11.
11? Sure. Or 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Good. So the total number of nodes here are 11. Okay. The size of this tree is 11. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if every node in a tree has only one child, except leaf node, because leaf node has no child. So if every node has only one child, we call them as a skew trees. Okay, SKEW, skew trees. So you see here, one has only one child, two has only one child, three has only one child, 4. So if every node will have always the left child, we call that as a left skew tree. Every node, if it has only having right child, we say that it's a right skew tree. Every node, some nodes will have left child, some nodes will have right child. If this is the case, we call simply a skew tree. But all this represents the skew tree only, because all these trees will having only one node except the child node. Child node will have no children. So if we can see a tree like this, we can call that as a skew tree. Okay. So if every node has only left child, then we call them as a left skew trees. Similarly, if every node has a right child, then we call them as a right skew trees. Shall we go ahead? Okay, so we will discuss our discussion will bring down to only binary trees. Binary tree itself is very complicated because all the rest of the things that we are going to study is based on binary tree. You will understand how complicated this data structure compared to stack and queues is, because it's a non-linear data structure. You are not arranging the data in a linear fashion. Why that is, we will try to understand. But concepts wise, let us try to see that in a binary tree, a tree is called a binary tree if each node has zero child or one child or a two children. Okay, zero empty tree can also be considered as a valid binary tree. Okay, very important. Empty tree, a tree has no root, no children. An empty tree can be considered as a binary tree. A tree is called a binary tree if each node has zero children or one children or two children. Maximum it can have two children, but it can have one children also. Still we can call that as a binary tree. If node may not have any children, still it is a binary tree. Okay, so an empty tree is also called is also a valid binary tree. So we can visual binary tree consisting of a root and two disjoint binary trees called the left and right subtrees of the root. You can see here, this is a root, we have a left subtree, we have a right subtree. This is one example of a tree. You have a root, this node has two children, correct? This node has no children, still this node has one children. 4 has one children, 1 has no children, 1 and 2 has no children, 4 has one children, 3 has two children. So this is a valid binary tree. Okay, at most a binary tree can have two children. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in binary trees also we have lot of types. We will try to study few types, then we will try to discuss some operations on these binary trees. Because the trees concept is very vast, we will restrict our discussion to binary trees. A strict binary tree is one of the type of binary tree if each node has exactly two children or no children. Each node will have exactly two children or no children. If that is the case, then we can say that it's a strict binary tree. 1 has two children, 3 has no children, 4 has two children, 2 has no children, 5 has no children. So this is a strict binary tree because the property of strict binary tree is satisfying here. Each node has exactly two children or no children. Okay, 3 to 5 are leaf nodes, they don't have children, but other nodes, non-leaf nodes, are exactly having two children. So this is called a strict binary tree. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so other two types of binary tree are, a binary tree is a full binary tree if it contains maximum possible number of nodes at all levels. Okay, so for example, in each and every level it should have all the nodes. In level 0 the number of nodes possible is 1, yes. At level 1 the number of possible nodes are 2, yes. At level 3 level 2 you have possible number of nodes are 4, you have 4 nodes. At level 3 you have possible number of nodes is 8. So at each level the nodes are there. Okay, so that's what a full binary tree is. A full binary tree is if it contains the maximum possible number of nodes at all levels. Maximum possible number of nodes at all levels, it's a full binary tree of height 4. This is a full binary tree of height 3 because the nodes, each node except non-leaf nodes, all the nodes at all levels are there. Okay, does this make sense? Is this a full binary tree?
No, sir.
Why? This is not a full binary tree. Why? Read again. What is the definition of full binary tree? A full binary tree is if it contains maximum possible number of nodes at all levels. Okay. So in this level, which nodes are missing? The children of 3. Okay. So in
Descendants
this
of
level,
three.
in this level, root node is 1. Second level, level 1, you have 2 nodes. Level 3, how many nodes you are supposed to have?
4.
4.
4. The children of 3 are missing. So this is not a full binary tree. Okay. Because full binary tree says that it should contain maximum possible number of nodes at all levels. Okay. So this is a node with height 4. This is a full binary tree with height 3. Okay. So a complete binary tree is another concept. A binary tree is said to be complete binary tree if it is all if all its levels except possibly the last level having the maximum number of possible nodes and all the nodes in the last level appear as left as possible. Means you can construct a tree like this. We'll take a pen. Where is it? Okay, so what this complete binary tree is, if a node you are constructing a tree, a tree is said to be complete binary tree if it all levels except the possible last level. Okay, for example, this is the tree. In the last level, in the last node, the node should be full, but it has to appear as left as possible. Okay, so is this a complete binary tree?
No, sir.
Why not? Tell me now. See, what is this is level 0, right? This is level 1, right? This is the last level. This is the second level, right? This is the level we are discussing. What it says, except possible the last level. So leave this last level. Remaining, the above nodes are maximum. Except the last level, level 0, level 1, the nodes are maximum. All the possible nodes are filled.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All the maximum nodes are filled, right? Okay, so this is first property. That's what it says. Except possible the last level, the before all the nodes, it should fill all the possible nodes. In the last level, the node should appear from left as possible. This node is appearing from left to right now. This is the nodes are keep filling from left to right only, correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is a complete binary tree. Yes, it's a complete binary tree. The rules definition, it is satisfying, right? Except the last level, all the levels are the nodes having maximum number of nodes. At the last level, the nodes are keep filling from left to right. Suppose this has like this. It has 2 children. Now I'm filling here. Is this a complete binary tree?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, it's on the right.
Nodes are present in
So
the right
except
part.
the first property is satisfying. Except the last level, the remaining level, the nodes are maximum. But on the last level, the node should fill from left to right. This node should be filled first. Then after that, this node should fill. Then only this should come. Even when I draw like this is also not a complete binary tree because this node is missing. Okay, we will choose a different color. Here, if this node supposed to be there, this node is missing, right? If this is node is not there, so it's not a complete binary tree. This is clear. So complete binary tree says that except the level before that, the node should be filled maximum, and the last level, the node should fill from left as possible, as far as left as possible. So this is a complete binary tree of height. It should be 4, not 14. This is wrong. This should be 4. Okay. This is a complete binary tree. The diagram which is shown is a complete binary tree or not? Come on,
No,
guys. Array, it's complete binary tree.
Yes,
See,
sir.
this is the last level. Why are you getting confused? See. This is the last level, right? Except this level, the nodes are maximum. The nodes are filled maximum. This level, maximum nodes you can fill 4 only, na? This level,
Yes, sir.
this level is maximum 1 node. This level maximum only 2 nodes. This level maximum 4 nodes. The last level, the nodes are filling left to right only, no? Is there any space which is not filled from left to right? This is a complete binary tree. Read the definition again. What is the definition? A binary tree is said to be a complete binary tree if all its levels except possible the last level having the maximum number of possible nodes. So except the last level, remaining all the levels should have maximum possible nodes because all of its levels except last level should have maximum possible nodes, and all the nodes in the last level appear as far as left as possible. Okay, so this is suiting now. So all the nodes up to this level, first 0th level, first level, second level, all the nodes are maximum filled. There is no space, there is no node you can fill because it's a binary tree. Binary tree can have at most 2 children. In the last level, it is filling from left to right. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So this is a complete binary tree or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now suppose I am drawing here another node. Now it's a complete binary tree?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because the next node should be filled 6th right child. If this node comes, then it's a complete binary tree. Okay. After filling the right node of 6, then you can fill the left node of 7. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell one statement. Don't get confused. All full binary trees are complete binary trees.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll repeat. All full binary trees are complete binary trees. But all complete binary trees are not full binary trees because full binary tree says that at all level, all nodes should be filled. Full binary tree. This is a full binary tree. At all level, all nodes should be filled. Okay. This is a full binary tree. Complete binary tree says that you should fill all the nodes except the last level, and the last level the nodes should fill from left to right. Okay, all the nodes should fill from left to right. If that is the case, then you can say that it's a complete binary tree. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is this a complete binary tree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is a complete binary
sir.
tree. So in other words, before defining the complete binary tree, you can consider the height of a tree is h. Okay. In complete binary trees, if you start giving the number like 1 to the root, then we can complete the sequence at each level 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then a binary tree is a complete binary tree if all the nodes are at height h or h minus 1, or also without any missing number in the sequence. Is it clear? You
Yes,
start
sir.
you start giving number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This node is having correct way of defining. Now let me take an ink and pen. Let me explain what this says. Suppose you have this node, you have root and two children. So you will start giving this node 1, this node 2, this node 3. Suppose I draw here. What is this node number should come? It's 5, right? The 4 should come here, but 4 is not there. This is not there. Okay. So what I'll do is, where is eraser? Okay. This node is not there. Okay. Now I'll start giving 5. Now 4 is missing here. The fourth node is missing. So it's not a complete binary tree. Only at h minus 1. Okay. This is one of the logic, but if you don't like it, you don't follow it. Just remember that a complete binary tree is a binary tree which is said to be that except all the levels except the last level, all the nodes should be filled, and the last level the node should fill from left to right. Okay, from as far as left as possible, the node should keep filling. Then we can say that is a complete binary tree. Okay, so let us try to study some properties of binary tree. Then we will go ahead. So if the node has only one node, the height of the tree is 0. Okay, and the possible number of nodes if height is 0 will be only one node. That is, we will represent as 2 to the power of 0, which will be one node. Is that correct? If height is 1, then the maximum number of nodes at each level we can calculate as, you can see this, the height is 1 here, 2 to the power of h, that is 2 to the power of 1 is 2. The maximum number of nodes at level 2 is 2 nodes. The maximum nodes you can accommodate on level 2 is 2 nodes. Likewise, if you say that at height h is equal to 2, then the maximum number of nodes you can accommodate at level 2 is 2 to the power of h, which will be h is 2 here, 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So you can accommodate maximum number of nodes are 4 number of nodes. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So what will be the maximum number of nodes at height is equal to 3?
8.
At h, at that level only. Okay. Number of nodes at level h. The maximum number of nodes at level 3 when will be 2 to the power of 3, which will be 8. So you have four nodes. Each node will have maximum 2 children. That will take you to 8. Okay. Now, given an h, let us try to understand some properties. Assuming that the height of the tree is h. Okay. Assume that the root node height is also 0. The number of nodes n in a full binary tree is, what is the number of nodes in a full binary tree? This is a full binary tree, right? What is the maximum number of nodes in a full binary tree? Total number of nodes.
It's 14. 14.
14. So that you can calculate using the height, given the height of the tree. If the tree is full binary tree, then if you know the height 4, then the maximum number of nodes is to the power of h plus 1 minus 1. Okay. So this is the formula. So when h is equal to 4, what will happen here? Sorry, what is the height here? Height here is 3, right? H is 3. Now 2 to the power of h plus 1. 2 to the power of 3 plus 1 is 4. 2 to the power of 4 is 16 minus 1. Count, you will get 15 number of nodes. So
Yes,
the,
sir.
the
15.
nodes are 15, right? So 15 number of nodes are there. So the total number of nodes in a given full binary tree will be 2 to the power of h plus 1. You count here. Here the level is 0, 1, 2. So h is 2. Substitute 2 to the power of h plus 1. That is h is equal to 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 2 cube is 8. 8 minus 1, 7. You got 7 number of nodes. Okay. Assuming that it should be a full binary tree. Full binary tree will have at all levels, all the nodes will be filled. Then only you will be able to calculate the maximum number of nodes. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
That's the first property. The first property says that the number of nodes n in a full binary tree is to the power of h minus 1. Since there are h levels, we need to add all the nodes at each level. That will be 2 to the power of 0 plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 2 and so on and so forth to the power of h. That will be equal to the power of h plus 1 minus 1. This is you can calculate that later. Okay. The number of nodes n in a complete binary tree is between 2 to the power of h minimum 2 to the power of h plus 1 minus 1 maximum. Okay, is this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the number of nodes here? What is the number of nodes here? Calculate what is the 2 to the power of h. 2 to the power of h is 3. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And 2 to the power of h plus 1 is 16 minus 1, 15. So in a complete binary tree, the number of nodes will lies between 8 to 15. Is this correct? So 12 is in between 8 and 15, right? So the number of nodes in a complete binary tree is between 2 to the power of h and 2 to the power of h plus 1 minus 1. Okay. So the number of lead nodes in a full binary tree is 2 to the power of h. This is also very important. Calculate what is the number of nodes. This is a full binary. What is the number of nodes in level 2? In level 2 only, what are the number of nodes? 4, right? That is 2 to the power of level 2 is 2, h height is 2, 2 to the power of h is 2 square 4. You count at level 3, count at each level how many nodes are there? 2 cube 8. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you draw another level, each node will have 2 children. You will get a full 16 nodes. So if the level is increasing, the number of nodes at each level in a full binary tree is 2 to the power of h. Is that correct? Guys, are you alive?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Please respond, okay? Otherwise, I'll assume that you will not understand. I'll keep repeating there only. Okay. So the number of null links, that is wasted point in a complete binary tree, is of a node n, n nodes is will be n plus 1. The number of null links. Okay, you count the number of null links. What is the number of null links? This node has how many null links? This is this has two null links. Left child is null, right child is also null, right? For node 8, left child is also null, right child is also null. For 9, left child is also null, right child is also null. So likewise, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 leaf nodes. How many links we have? How many null links we have?
$13.
Then it should be this also right null link, right?
Yes, sir.
So it should be 2n plus 1. Sorry. If you count only one null link, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For 6 nodes, it should be 6. What it is given here. The number of null links, wasted pointers in a complete binary tree of n nodes is it should be, if you consider should be 2n plus 1. If you assume that say both left link and right link. Okay. Let us count in this example. How many null links are there in this case?
6.
You have 3 nodes. Then it should be 2n to 2n. It should lie between 2n and 2n plus 1, right? It should lie between 2n and 2n plus 1. Okay. It's between 2n and 2n plus 1. Okay. I'm sorry for this mistake. Is this correct? Let's count another example. Any other tree will count. So this is not a complete binary tree at all. So tell me, is this a full binary tree?
No, sir.
Is it a complete binary tree?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Good. Because 3 children are missing. So straight away it is not a complete binary tree. Any node which is not a complete binary tree, it cannot be full binary tree. We can say that, okay? Because all full binary trees can be complete binary trees. So yeah, if it is not a complete binary tree, it cannot be a full binary tree. Or if you find that it is the other way around, maybe same. You remember any one thing, then you can solve this. Okay, I'm just trying to see an example. Okay, let it be. You understood this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So some applications we'll discuss, then operations I'll follow that. Okay, so the applications where binary tree play an important role is expression trees that you use in compilers, Huffman coding for compression algorithms. Whenever you're going to use compression algorithms a lot in the coming days, because of image processing, you are going to design the hardware of VLSI, the chips that you are going to design. we'll have some compression algorithms for image processing or image enhancements. At all those places, data compression algorithms, you will use Huffman coding trees. Okay, binary search tree for searching a deletion, insertion. You can do it in log n time. If time permits, we'll discuss binary search tree in the next class. Also, priority queue, which searches, suppose the search and deletion of minimum and maximum collection of logarithmic time. In worst case, also you can use trees. This is some applications of binary trees. So representation examples we'll discuss after the break. We'll take a break. How we will represent that we will discuss. But so far, if you have any doubts, you ask me. It's already we are discussing since 50 minutes. So I'll give you a break another 5-10 minutes. You can take a break, relax yourself, stretch yourself. You can come back. But up to this point, if you have any doubts, let me know. No doubts, but just think about it. Okay. If you have any doubts, please ask. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me what is the minimum number of nodes possible in a binary tree of a height h? I repeat my question. What is the minimum number of nodes possible in a binary tree of height h?
H plus 1.
Why? It could be a skew tree, right? If it is a skew tree, the minimum number of nodes is, suppose this is height is equal to 0, height is equal to 1, height is equal to 2, height is equal to 3. So the minimum number of nodes possible with height h, it will be h plus 1. Okay. So in the possible skew binary trees, the levels will be only one path. So the h itself will give you the height, and also that will be your the number of nodes will be simply h plus 1, considering the root node. Okay. Okay, I'll ask one more question. Suppose let's say that your tree is a non-empty binary tree. Suppose if you have n number of nodes and e is the number of edges, then can you define the relationship between n and e? E is the number of edges, means links that communicate, that is between the parent and the child. How many, if n is the number of nodes and e is the number of edges, what is the relationship between n and e?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
If n is the number of nodes, e is the number of edges, means that is the links between the parent and child. So this is one edge, this is another edge, this is another edge. Okay. So edge is the link between the parent and the child. So if a tree has n number of nodes, what is the relationship between n and e? Nodes and edges.
E will be equal to n minus 1.
Okay, good. That we can say that nodes is equal to edges plus 1. Is that correct? Nodes, number of nodes is equal to edges plus 1. Count this. How many edges you have? How many nodes you have? Will it be correct? Nodes is equal to edges plus 1. Is that equation satisfying? How many nodes you have? 15 nodes, right? How many edges you have? Count. It should have 16 edges you should have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How come? It's getting confused. Give me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sir, edges will be less than nodes.
Give me 1 second. Draw the relationship. Draw the relationship between the number of nodes and number of edges. Would you able to get any answer? No? Can anybody do that? Okay, take that as exercise. I will tell you in the next class. Okay. Uh, okay, so now let us see that the representation of a binary tree, because we are running out of time. So the answer is, see, the representation of binary tree. You can do it in two ways. One is using arrays, other one is linked list. Okay. So in linked list, it's a dynamic memory, that also we will see. But in arrays, how we will store the tree in a form of array in a logical way that we can able to store and access the children that we will try to see. Okay, these are the some rules we need to consider when we store a binary tree in an array. Always the root node will be stored at the location 1, that is the first location, assuming that the array starts from the index 1. Okay, in C programming, if you are doing, the array will be stored at 0. Okay, but don't store at 0. Assume that it will store at 1, because of some operations that we are going to do ahead. Okay, for any node with an index I, where I 1 less than I less than equal to n, the parent of I will be at I by 2 when I is equal to 1. The left child will store at 2 into I. The right child will store at 2 into I plus 1. So if the root node is at location 1, then the left child of the root node will store at 2 into I. That is the second position. The right child will store at 2 into I plus 1, where I is 1. So the right child will store at the third place. Okay. Now, if you keep the root node location 0, then you multiply 0 into 2, you will get 0 only. It will overwrite the value. Again, it will create a problem for all the left children. It will create a problem. That's why we will try to see from the perspective where the root node is stored at 1. Okay. Now, after storing the left child and right child at level 3, you want to store at the level 3, level 0, 1, 2. At level 2, you want to store at level 2, the first left child will store at level 2th node is 4th node, right? Okay, so I will show you this example. Let us see some example that will make more sense. Assume that this is your expression. You are storing this expression in the form of tree. Okay, so let us assume that plus you stored here minus AB multiplication C, then division DE. Okay, this is a binary tree. Now the root plus is stored at the first position. The root plus left child minus is stored at 2i. I is 1. So the left child is stored at 2i. That is stored at second position. I is 1, 2 into 1, 2. Right child is stored at 2i plus 1. Okay. 2i plus 1 is I is 1. The multiplication is stored at the third position. Okay. Now, this is now the parent. The parent left child A will be stored at this node multiplied by this node's location multiplied by 2. What is this node location minus? It is 2, right? 2 into I. That is 2 into 2, 4. A will be stored at the fourth location. This node location is 2 again. Right child of this node will be stored at 2i plus 1. I here is this node location is 2, 2i plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5. So B is stored at fifth location. Likewise, this node location, right child, left child will be stored accordingly. This node location is stored at 3, right? Multiplication is stored at 3. This node left child will be stored at 2i. So 3 into 2, 6. C will be stored at the sixth position. This will be stored at 2i plus 1. I value here is 2. 3, because I value 3 is multiplication is stored at 3. So 2 3s are 6 plus 1, 7. Division is stored at seventh position. Okay. Now this D and E are stored at this guy node location is division location is 7. 7. So the seventh, this left child will be stored at 7 into 2, 14th place. This division's right child will be stored at 2i plus 1, 14 plus 1, 15th place. Okay. D and E are stored in 14th and 15th position. This rest of the nodes 8 to 13 will be empty. They are supposed to store A's left child, right child, B's left child, right child, C's left child, right child. Okay, because they are not there, we have to leave them as empty, and we are storing whatever the node details we have. Okay, is this clear how we are representing array? Now that's what we have written. So for a root node will start at 1. The left child will store at 2i plus 1. Right child will store at 2 into I plus 2i. Left child will store at 2i. Right child will store at 2i plus 1. Suppose if I want to know what is the parent of this division, I want to know what is the parent of this guy. I will simply divide it by 2. 7 by 2 is 3. 3 is this guy, right? So the division parent is multiplication, correct? Division parent is multiplication. What is the parent of E? E is 15. 15 by 2 is 7. 7 is division. So E's parent is division, correct? E's parent is division. What is the parent of B? B location is 5. 5 divided by 2 is 2. So B parent is minus. Okay. So likewise, when you want to know what is a parent, you divide simply I by 2, take the floor. Take the floor except the I node where I has no parent. When you want to find a parent, you have to divide it by 2. When you want to store a left child, you have to multiply by 2. When you want to store a right child, you have to multiply 2 into I plus 1. When you do that in array, the tree can be stored like this. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is called a non-linear data structure, because if you are storing your elements in a linear way, D and E is supposed to be staying here, right? 8th and 9th position. But you are not storing the elements in between, because your tree logically has no children for A, B, C. So you are wasting some memory if a node has no children. Okay, so the elements in an array, maximum you'll store is the maximum number of levels, but the elements whatever the array you are storing, they are not stored in a linear order, they are stored in a non-linear order. Although you are using a data structure of array, array, we studied that arrays is a linear data structure. Is that correct? Arrays, stacks, queues, they are linear data structure. But the moment when we say linear data structure, the elements should store continuously one after the other. But a tree is a non-linear data structure because the nodes what we are storing are not in continuous format one after the another. Okay, we are leaving some space. So a tree is a non-linear data structure. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
So the other way we can represent a tree is using linked list. So the advantages of sequential representation using arrays, any node can be accessed from any other node by calculating the index, which is very efficient. If you want to calculate your parent, just divide it by 2. You want to store your left child or right child, you calculate, multiply by 2, I or 2i plus 1. This is very efficient. This is advantage. Only data are stored without any pointers or their successors. Ancestors are mentioned implicitly. Programming languages where dynamic memory allocation is not possible, array representation is the only way we can store the tree. These are the advantages. What are the disadvantages? Other than a full binary tree, the majority of the arrays entries will be empty. If a full binary tree, then all the nodes will be full, then your array will be full. Otherwise, many at locations, the arrays will be empty. It allows only static representation. There is no way possible to enhance the tree structure if the array size is limited. If I say that I can accommodate only 10 elements in my array, even your tree contains 12 elements or 13 elements, you cannot include that in your array. So you cannot improve that because the static representation, right? Arrays are a static. Inserting a new node in a tree or deleting a new node is also very inefficient with this representation because we have to shift them or delete them. We will understand how difficult it is when we discuss about the operations of a tree, movement or down or uh, moving an array or towards when we are inserting and deleting an element in array, how difficult it is we studied because we have to shift all the elements, right, towards left or right, depends on your insertion or deletion. The same problem will also be created in binary tree. So these are the some disadvantages. Hence we are going for linked list representation. In linked list representation of a binary tree can be carried out very simply because you know that doubly linked list. In doubly linked list, each data will be having two links towards left and right. Likewise, but whereas each node will point to only one node, here each node will point to multiple nodes. So you have right child, you have left child. Similar to doubly linked list, we can access representation of a binary tree using doubly linked list. Suppose this is your tree, you want to store this binary tree. So a will have uh, no children, so a's right child is null. You have a data a's left child is also null, but you can keep storing. You can see here, this tree logical view of the linked list. Suppose you stored plus, you stored minus, here you stored multiplication, a b c, division, d and e. This is a logical view. Physical view we can see separately, like plus left child address is 89, right child address is 46. You see here, plus left child address is 75, 75. The 89 is the root address. The root node address is 89. The left node address is 75. Right node address is 46. So you have to store left node address 75, right node address 46. So after going to 75, this location, you will get minus left child is stored at A, the address is at 50. Right child stored B, which is stored at 40. So you go to 50th location, you see that A will have no left child, right child. You see this minus, minus left child is 50, minus right child is 40. And you go to the 50th location, you will find the data A. This has no child. You go to the location 40, you will find B, you will have no location. You go to 46, 46 memory location is multiplication. You got left child 60, 62, 58. So you go to the 62nd position, you will find C. They have no address, no children are there. Likewise, you keep storing the data. So this is the physical representation. This is the logical representation. You can see that how many nodes you want, those many memory locations only are used. There is no wastage of the memory, but still the values are not stored in a sequential address. They are stored wherever the memory space is available. There only the stored. That's why you got this data is stored at 89 and this data is stored at 75, again 46, because while you are storing the data, the address is available at this location as the data is stored. So linked list works in a way that where your memory space is available, it will keep storing the data. All you have to point the address for the next value. So does this make sense? How this representation is done using doubly linked list for the tree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's why I told if you if you have to study the doubly linked list is very much useful for representation of trees. The efficient way to implement a binary tree is using linked list. If you have not understood the doubly linked list, please go back to the slides, study it properly again. All the concepts that we studied will come here and there in the upcoming discussion. Even when I discuss about graphs, even when we discuss about other data structure, the linked list arrays will keep coming up. The only way you can implement any data structure is using arrays and linked list. So you can, there is no separate data structure for tree, there is no separate data structure for stack and queue. We have to use arrays and linked list. But the way where we are storing and accessing the elements, is it a linear order or a non-linear order, is what we are differentiating our data structure as a linear data structure, non-linear data structure. The tree is a non-linear data structure because the elements is not accessed in a linear fashion. Okay, so obviously when you're using linked list, they will store at different addresses. They are not the address where you're storing the elements are not stored in a linear order. So we cannot, the elements are not stored in a continuous form, right? Okay, so let us now try to understand the algorithm of how to construct a tree. Okay, so how to build a tree using arrays. So you want to start with an item, data of a node I. Output is a binary tree with two subtrees of node I. It's array representation. I'll discuss the array representation also. I will discuss the linked list representation also. So try to focus. So if I is a node, if node is not equal to 0, means if tree is not empty, it's a non-empty tree, then we want to keep constructing the element. So item is the element that we want to add in our tree. So item will become an array of I. If node I has a if node I has a left subtree, we have to find out, means whenever we are adding a node, we want to say that let me draw a tree. Okay, suppose let us assume you have two trees. I mean, this is the tree. You want to insert now a node. You want to insert a node. You want to create a tree. Let's take another color. Now, suppose you want to insert, where you want to insert is depends on you, right? So, suppose you want to traverse, you want to insert here, you want to insert this place, or you want to insert at this place, or you want to insert at this place. Where you want to insert, you have to give the option, right? So that's where we are asking, node has a left subtree. Yes, if already has left subtree, then if the option is y, then we will build the tree 2 into I, comma, new location. We have to go for the new location. The tree you want to store, you want to access the node towards left, you go to the left. Then again call 2 into I, this location, the location of this node. Okay. Else, if there are no left subtree, if there are no left subtree means, if there are no left subtree means the root node might be having like this. So if there is no left subtree, then the build tree will become 0. So you insert here only. So the location will become here only. Okay, empty, that is an empty subtree, right? There is no left subchild, then you build the tree with 0 and null, because there is no left subtree. Assume that, so you can, empty subtree means there is no left child. Okay, so you return 0 and null, the node will be carried out. Okay, we will consider that. Suppose here option is right. If not left, you are giving an option node has a left subtree. If you keep no, then you have to give option node has right subtree or not. The second option is node has right subtree or not. If node has right subtree, yes, then you store the location at 2 into I plus 1. You go to the right side, then again ask build the build the tree, because after going this direction, the tree has to execute again. The method will be called again. The method will be called again to ask again left or right, because after coming here, you may take, just give me 1 minute. After going this direction, you may come this direction also, right? After going right, you can come left. Again, you can go right. So every time when you want to insert a new node, you have to ask whether you have a left subtree or right subtree, where you want to insert. So for this option, we are asking every time the user whether, to make sure that, because we are storing the data in a non-linear fashion, we are asking the user to enter the tree structure in a way that computer will understand. So every time asking whether the tree has a left node, left child, or a right child, which direction you want to move. So when they say left child is there, then I will multiply by 2. If there is a right child, then I will multiply by 2 into I plus 1. I keep calling which direction they have to go until they reach to a particular end. Then I will find that is the empty subtree. This node has no subtrees. So this is an empty subtree. I can insert here. Does this make sense? What I am telling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first we verified whether the tree is not empty. Okay, first we verified whether tree is not empty. So tree is not empty, then only the loop will come inside. So tree is not empty. We are asking which direction you want to insert, whether to go to left or whether to go to right. If you go left, then the direction will be multiplied. It will go here. Now you have to make again direction. You want to go left or right. That's why again this build tree is called with the same method. Again it will ask left or right. Now you want to go right. You choose no here. Then again the node will ask whether you have a right subtree. You ask yes or no. Then you can say yes. Then if you say that it will go to the right direction, then you keep doing that to find the trace. Okay. So once the build tree will become, once you found there is an empty subtree, you can insert at that position. Okay, you can add, but just simply multiplying the node. Suppose this node I want to multiply here, this location. What I'll multiply? Build tree 2 into I plus 1 new node I will add here. Okay, so this is using arrays. What about linked list? When I want to use the same method using linked list, so the same build tree using linked list with the node pointer item, a binary tree with the 2 subtrees of the node PTR, a linked list binary structure. If PTR not equal to null, where PTR is the binary tree with two subtrees of the node PTR, right? If this PTR is not empty, which is not equal to null, then item you will put in PTR.data. You are asking PTR.data has a left subtree. If option is Y, then you go to the left side. PTR.left child will be the LCPTR. Then build again with LCPTR location and the new location. Else you make it null, that is your empty subtree. You assign for an empty left subtree. Otherwise, you ask whether the node has a right subtree, give an option yes or no. If it is yes, then get that location. You traverse one more, assign it to the right link, allocate the memory, assign it to the right link, build the right subtree. Else, assign it for the right subtree, empty the right subtree by calling it again with the null. Okay. So using linked list, simply a slight modification of arrays. Using addresses, we have to build the tree. It may be not making sense to you when I am explaining because we are in offline mode, but you try this code when you are implementing in your programming time. At that time, maybe our guest faculties and all of us will help you if you are facing any issues. But the idea is every time a node can traverse at any place to build the tree, every time you have to ask whether you want to go to the left side or right side. And once you have to go, you have to allocate the memory, assign the left link, build the left subtree. The comments will help you to understand. We are making that the tree is not empty. We are storing the item. You can see this, we are allocating the memory and we are assigning it to the left link. Because the option is Y for the question that it has a left subtree, then we are calling with the same link again to go to the left or right. If this left option is not there, if there is no left subtree, then we can make an assign for an empty left subtree. Because there is no left subtree, we will make it as a null unnull. If you want to go to the right subtree, yes, then we will allocate the memory, we will assign the right link, we'll build the tree again. If there is no right child, if the user is giving there is no right subtree, so we'll make them as a null. The link will be null. Okay, so that's how we'll keep building the tree. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the few operations on binary tree. We can insert an element, we can delete an element, we can search an element, we can traverse an element. So these are the 4 operations we will discuss for some time, then I will stop. Okay, these are the auxiliary operations that we discussed, like how we discuss the auxiliary operations for a stack and queue. Likewise for trees also, for finding the size of the tree, for finding the height of the tree, for finding the levels as a maximum sum, for finding the least common ancestor for the pair of the nodes. So these are some auxiliary operations, but the main operations are how to insert an element, how to delete an element, how to traverse an element, how to search an element is there or not. So if you want to insert an element using arrays, after an element key element, so key to be the data of a node after which a new node has to be inserted with the data item. Output will be newly inserted node with the data item as a left or right child of the node with key. So you're using array as a binary data structure. So key is the item. After that you want to enter the new item. First you have to search whether the key is there or not. You search the data whether the key is there or not. If the key is there, this method I will explain in the next slide. How the search, sequential search will happen, I'll explain the next slide. But if the search is 0, then search is unsuccessful, insertion is not possible. If search is returns 1, then you have found a node. Now you have to ask whether the node, if A of its left child is null or right child is null. If the key node has empty links, then you have to read an option. You want to insert that node as a left or a right. If the option is left, then if A of 2 of that location is null, then store that element in that position. Okay. If this location is not null, then you say that desired insertion is not possible because it is already has left child, because it should not overwrite. When you are inserting an element, you should not overwrite. You should print that desired insertion is not possible. If the option is right, then check that right location 2 into L plus 1 is null or not. If it is null, then you write the item. Otherwise, if it is not null, you say the desired position is not available. So if the search is not equal to 0, if A of it is not equal to null, or this guy, this, if A of left child is null or A of right child is null, if either of this case fails, then you say that item cannot be inserted as a leaf node. Okay, so these are the possible cases how we are inserting a node in an array. Is this clear? You search an element where you want to insert. If the element is not found, you say that search is unsuccessful. Then ask that whether the tree has a left child or a right child. If they both are null, then only read the option. If either of them is not null, you say that item cannot be inserted as a leaf node because they already has a left child and right child. If they are null, then you ask whether you want to insert them as a left child or a right child. If option is left, then you verify that position where you are storing the data is a null in order not to overwrite. If it is null, then you insert the item. If it is not null, you say that desired insertion is possible because it already has a left child. Likewise, if the location where you want to insert is right, you go to the particular position 2 into L plus 1. If it is not null, then you say that desired operation is not possible because it already has a left child. No, it should be right child. Here it should come right child. Okay, this should be right child. This should come same here. So desired position is not available. If it is null, then the space is available. You insert this item. Okay, so that's how we are insert a node in a binary tree. So how this sequential search will work in a tree, you will see. Okay, so this is the sequential search. You will find key item to be the search, index of an item of the node where you want to start. You have the location where the key is located if it is available. You start with index. You start with A of I is not equal to key, then the root node. If the root node is not key, then go to the left side, search again the left tree. Else, search the right side, 2i plus 1 is less than or equal to size, search the right side of the key, right subtree. Else, return 0. Okay, if there is no left subtree, there is no right subtree, return 0. You keep doing that in a recursive way. At any place, if you find the key, you return it, otherwise you return 0, otherwise return the I. This is a recursive method. Okay, you are keep calling the method again. So using linked list, this is bit lengthy, how to insert a node in a linked list. So you have a key in the data of the key node, that is a new node to be inserted in an item, and output will be the item component after inserting as external node with the after the data key. Okay, so here also you are searching the link from the root, the key as an input, whether you are searching whether the node after the key you want to insert or not is available or not. If the search is not available, if search is null, then you say the search is unsuccessful, no insertion. Otherwise, you verify whether it has a left child or a right child, both links are empty. You ask the user whether you want to insert at the left side or a right child. If it is a left, then verify that left location is null. If it is null, then allocate the memory. Item will be stored into new data. Then new data left link, right link will become null. Then PTR is the location initially you searched the root, right? The key location where you got, that is the PTR. PTR you choose to insert at the left location. then PTR left child will become new. Okay, the PTR left child will become new because you choose the left option. You want to insert at the left option, we verified it is not null, then new node left location will become PTR dot left child. If this location is not available, you say that insertion is not possible as a left child. Otherwise, if you want to insert at the right node, right child, you get the node, you insert the data, new data item will be stored in new data, new node left link, new node right link will become null, then PTR right link will become new because the PTR is now pointing to the node that is the key of the element that you searched. You choose to be inserted in the right place of that node. The key element right location will become the new node. Otherwise, if this location is not available, you say that insertion is not possible as a right child with the execution. Okay, so if this location is not null, if PTR left child is not null or PTR right child is not null, then you say that the node is already has a child. There is no empty child. Okay, so likewise for the search link, you start with a variable, you see that the root data is equal to key. If it is that, then return that location. If that is not the location, you search the left subtree, you give the link ptr.lc, else return 0. Otherwise, you search the right subtree till ptr not equal to null. You go to the right subtree, keep searching. If it is null, then return 0. If you get able to get the pointer, that will be the key pointer where is the node you want to insert. Is this clear? It's very hard to understand because the tree itself is a complicated data structure and we are teaching online. So I know that how many of you are understanding or not, but try to read a code, at least try to understand a logical perspective what we are discussing. Okay. Deletion of a binary tree we will discuss in the next class because this is very lengthy. Deletion of binary tree, if you have to understand, you have to understand few other things also. Okay, so deletion of a binary search tree. Deletion is very easy. Okay, I'm a bit confused. Deletion of a binary search tree is a bit difficult. Deletion of a binary tree is very easy. Simply you have to make at that position null. Okay, so if you want to delete an element in an array, we can see here item is to be the node that need to be deleted. Binary tree without a node having item. So you search deletion of a binary tree, this only, no? Yeah. So you search, initially declare a flag is equal to false, search that element is there or not first, the key element that is to be deleted. If the key element is there, then directly we can, if L is equal to 0, we'll go to the step 10. Step 10 is flag is equal to false, node is not exist, no deletion is possible. If the node is available, then we have to make sure that test the left node or the right node, which node it is you want to delete. For example, this is the node you want to delete. You will come here A to B, B to D, D to right node, whether you want to search which is the node you want to delete. Test for the leaf node, you will keep going the leaf node. After reaching the leaf node, you say that you turn that flag is equal to true, so that once the flag is there, once you turn the flag so as to delete it. Okay, then for that location you are making it null. You are changing the flag to be deleted, and that location you are making it null. Else you can say that the node containing item is not a leaf node. This is deleting a leaf node. Okay, for deleting a leaf node, you keep search the element, go to until the leaf node is having null. After reaching that location, you verify the node is there or not, then you make that true and make that location null. So this location will become null, this location will become null. Okay, so likewise in linked list also the same thing. You search the node, if ptr equal to null, then tree is empty. Otherwise search the item. If parent is not equal to null, you keep ptr1 is parent dot left child, ptr2 is parent dot right child. If you choose the left child and the right child, then left child is deleted. ptr1 lc is equal to null and ptr rc is equal to null, then left child to be deleted, then parent dot lc will become null. The ptr node parent lc will become null. If you want to delete the right child, parent right child will become null. This is the main logic for deleting a node. If you want to understand, so if you want to delete a right node, parent right child should become null. If you want to delete a left node, parent left child should become null. Remaining thing, you are searching until you find the location is not equal to null. You keep searching till you find the leaf node. Okay, that's how you delete the node. So I will stop here because uh, traversal will take a lot of time. We'll discuss traversal in the next class. Up to this point, uh, many of you would have may not understood this. Please go through the slides again. Please analyze the algorithm that we discussed. If not, then next Tuesday we will discuss it again, which you haven't understood. We will discuss that. Okay. Tree traversal I will discuss in the next class, but tree insertion and deletion you can just go through today and study those algorithms that we discussed. If you have doubts, you ask me in the next Tuesday class. We will discuss this again.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So can you please confirm which timetable will you follow from the next week?
What can you change?
So which timetable will you follow from next week?
You ask your class CR and ask them to talk to me.
Sir, I am the CR brother.
So what all the CRs are discussed? I told all the
Sir,
CRs to discuss
yes,
and update me
yes, sir. You can follow that original timetable.
for all the classes, right?
Yes, sir. For both batch A and B.
You talk to other faculties, other professors.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So next Monday onwards, we will follow the as per your original timetable. I'll come to the class. We will take the class physically.
So, sir, will the classes be in hybrid mode?
That will be hybrid mode. Yes, half section will come to the class, half section will not. Will be attending online.
Okay.
That's how your department says, right?
Yes.
So we'll follow the same.
Sir, actually, what is happening is only some classes are in offline mode, and then most of the classes are still in online mode.
Okay. What to do with that?
So then, so suppose if we have your class from 11 to 12, and then from 10 to 11 we still have an online class. So then coming from hostel to your physical classroom will take some time.
See, I told you that whether I told you clearly, all of you guys, we will take. See, I uploaded the class today's class file. Can you see that? Will you be able to see class lecture 13 tree PDF?
So just yes, sir.
Okay, it's visible, right? So
Yes,
go
sir.
through the slides again. If you are confused, you can listen the lecture that I have given. We can go to the recordings and play it again and verify. And if you have still doubts, we will discuss in theory class. I mean next week onwards. So I gave you two options. One is I asked initially because at that time the classes were online. We thought of conducting all the classes online. So I shifted two classes, ECA, ECB, ECA on Tuesday, Thursday 2 hours. But the class changed to hybrid mode. Then I asked you to follow the original timetable that is given for ECA. It is Monday 11 to 12, ECB again 12 to 1 Monday, then Tuesday ECB 11 to 12, ECA 12 to 1, Then Wednesday 4 to 5 ECA, Friday 10 to 11 ECB. This is the timetable, original timetable asked you to follow, right?
Yes, sir.
Then what you said, that time location were occupied by other professors. So that's why again we come to a discussion of taking the classes. 2 classes will be in physical and 2 hours will be in online. Now you want me to take again completely offline. I will take that. That is my duty. I will come and take offline as per the hybrid mode. If you are not having leisure or having leisure, that is your problem. You have to solve that.
Okay,
See,
sir.
I'm giving you 2 options. One is either go for the original timetable, follow what the college or department says. We will keep in hybrid mode. Half the class will be there in the class, half the class will be in online. I will teach likewise coming to the class as per the original timetable. Or else we will follow like how we did this week. 2 hours will be online, 1 hour will be uh, on Tuesday for one section and the other section in hybrid mode. What other possibilities you are telling? I'm not understanding.
So I am just saying that suppose on Monday you have a hybrid class from 12 to 11, 12 to 1 for ECB.
Okay.
So sir, from 11 to 12 we also have a class, but it's in online mode. So sir, coming from hostel to a physical class will take some time actually.
So what do you want me to you do? So again you are raising a problem. That's what we discussed now. Class CRs came to my cabin and we discussed and we came to a resolution, right?
Yes, sir.
So again, why you are raising issues? You discuss it again and let me know, okay? What to do with this?
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.